A friend texts you, "Hey, this is super awkward, but could you float me 500 until next month?" And your stomach does a small, quiet drop. Not because you don't love them, because some part of you already knows how this tends to end. Most money lent between people who love each other is never fully paid back, and what gets lost is rarely just the money. It's the ease, the way you used to text back without a second thought. Today, I want to hand you one rule that protects both of those, the cash and the friendship, and the exact words to use when the ask lands on your table. Let's talk about it. Here's where we're going. First, why a loan between loved ones curdles in a way a bank loan never does. The power imbalance nobody says out loud. Then the reframe that changes everything. If you can help, give what you can afford and call it a gift. No ledger, no resentment. If you truly must lend, how to do it so it can't quietly poison the relationship. Then the hardest one, how to say no and keep the person. I'll steel man the other side, because generosity and family duty are real and good. We'll talk about being the family bank, when you're the one everyone calls. And I'll close by handing you the actual script. The give, don't lend line, and the graceful no. Warm and firm at the same time. Here's the thing nobody warns you about. The moment someone you love asks you for money, the relationship changes, before you've even answered. Because now there's a question hanging in the air, and whatever you say, something shifts. Say yes, and you've quietly become the lender, and they've become the borrower. Two roles that never sat between you before. Say no, and you have to watch their face do the thing you were dreading. This is a conversation almost nobody designs on purpose. It just happens to you, on a Tuesday, by text, and you improvise. And the improvising is exactly where it goes wrong. And most of us handle it with silence. We say yes when we mean, "I'm not sure." We never talk about a repayment date because bringing it up feels rude. We tell ourselves it'll sort itself out. Then a month passes, then 3, and the money's never mentioned. But it's there. It's in the room every holiday. It's the reason you notice their new phone. It's the small tightness when they laugh at dinner while you're doing math in your head. The loan got quiet, but it never left. That silence, not the $500, is what actually costs you the friendship. So let's make the whole thing sayable. Point 1, why a loan between people who love each other curdles, when a loan from a bank just sits there quietly. The bank doesn't come to Thanksgiving. The bank has no feelings about whether you deserved it. The bank has a form, an interest rate, and a date, and everyone agreed to all 3 before a single dollar moved. That structure is boring, and boring is exactly what protects the relationship because there isn't one. Between loved ones, there's no form. There's just a favor and a fog. And into that fog rushes the thing nobody names out loud, a power imbalance. The moment money moves one direction, the relationship stops being equal. One of you is now quietly a little bit in charge. The lender starts noticing. You don't mean to, but you do. The vacation they posted, the takeout bags, the small upgrades, and every one of them whispers, "They could be paying me back." And the borrower feels it from the other side. They feel watched. They start avoiding you a little because seeing you means remembering the debt. And remembering the debt feels like shame. So they text back slower. They skip the group dinner. And you read that distance as ingratitude, when really it's embarrassment. Two good people, both flinching, both a little resentful, neither of them talking about it. Because the loan lives in the one place you were both raised never to go. That's the trap. It isn't that your friend is a deadbeat or you're a Scrooge. It's that you took a relationship built on being equals and quietly, accidentally made it a relationship between a creditor and a debtor. And those two things can't fully live in the same body at the same time. One of them always wins. Usually it's the debt. So here's the reframe that changes everything. Point 2. If you can help and you want to help, then give what you can afford and call it a gift, out loud, on purpose, not a loan you secretly expect back, a gift you're genuinely letting go of. I know how that sounds the first time. It sounds like you're just throwing money away. But walk it through with me, because it's the opposite. Picture the two futures. In the loan future, you hand over $500, and now you own a little worry and a little resentment for as long as it takes them to pay you back, which, statistically, is often never. Every month you don't get it back, a tiny bit of the friendship gets spent. In the gift future, you decide up front. What can I actually afford to give here with an open hand? Maybe it's the whole 500. Maybe you can only really afford 2. Whatever that honest number is, you give it, and you say the magic sentence, "Please don't pay me back. This is a gift. I just want you okay." And something remarkable happens. The debt never gets created. There's no ledger. There's nothing to track, nothing to resent, nothing to avoid you over. You stay equals. They stay free. And here's the part people miss. You protected the friendship for a price you already decided you could handle. A gift has a known, fixed cost, the amount once, and then it's done. A loan has a hidden, open-ended cost that keeps billing you in awkwardness for months. Give, don't lend isn't reckless. It's the cheaper option, once you count what the loan really charges. Give what you can afford to give, and not a dollar more, because a gift that quietly wrecks your own rent isn't generosity, it's a second problem. But within what you can afford, give it clean and keep the person. Now, point 3. Sometimes it really is a loan. The amount is too big to give. It's a sibling and a car that they need for a job. There are real situations where lending is the right call. Fine. If you must lend, here's the only rule that keeps it from poisoning anything. Lend only what you can afford to never see again. And say that out loud at the moment you hand it over. Let me say the quiet part plainly, because this is the whole trick. Inside your own head, you treat the money as gone, spent, a gift, emotionally. You wave it goodbye the second it leaves your hands. That way, if it comes back, it's a happy surprise. And if it doesn't, you already made your peace before there was anything to make peace about. You never sit there for months feeling robbed because you never lent it expecting it back. But, and this matters, the borrower does not get to treat it as a gift. To them, it's still a loan with real terms. So you say both halves out loud, kindly. I can lend you the $1,500. Here's what I need. Let's agree now. You'll pay me $200 a month starting in March, and if a month gets tight, you just tell me before it's due, not after. Notice what that does. It kills the fog. There's a number, a date, and a plan for when things go wrong. The exact structure the bank has, minus the coldness. You've made the terms boring on purpose, so the relationship never has to carry them. And you write it down. Not because you don't trust them, because a text you both can look at later means neither of you has to rely on memory, and memory is where resentment is born. Lend it goodbye in your heart. Spell it out clearly with your mouth. That combination, soft on the outcome, clear on the terms, is the only way a loan between loved ones survives contact with real life. Point 4, the hard one. How to say no and still have the person. Because here's the truth. You will not always be able to say yes, and you shouldn't have to. Sometimes the answer is just no. You can't afford it, or you've been burned before, or this particular person plus this particular request is a door you know not to open. The problem is, most of us are so afraid of the no that we do something worse. We say a mushy, guilty yes we can't back, or we go silent and ghost the ask entirely, and both of those do more damage than a clean, warm no ever could. So let's make no sayable. The secret is that a good no has 2 parts, and you have to keep them separate. Part 1, the warmth. You lead with the relationship genuinely. I love you, and I want to help you through this. Part 2, the boundary, gentle, but with no back door. And I've got a rule for myself that I don't lend money because I've watched it hurt people I care about, so I'm not able to do that. See how those work together? You're not rejecting the person. You're declining the transaction while holding on to them with both hands. And here's the move that turns a no into an actual act of love. You don't stop there. You add the third sentence. But let's figure out what else I can do. Maybe you can't hand over cash, but you can help them call the utility company, or drive them somewhere, or make some calls, or split one grocery run. A no to the loan can be a yes to the person. What you never do is over-explain. The more reasons you pile up, the more it sounds like a case you're arguing, and the more room you give them to counter each one. One warm sentence, one clear boundary, one offer of another kind of help, and then you stop talking and you let the quiet be okay. That's not cruelty. That's the most respectful thing you can do. Give them a real answer they can plan around, instead of a maybe that keeps them dangling. Now let me steel man the whole other side. Point 5. Because if this video makes you a Scrooge, I've failed you. Generosity is real. Family duty is real. Showing up for the people you love with actual money when they're actually drowning is one of the most human and beautiful things a person can do. I am not telling you to become the friend who quotes a rule while someone you love loses their apartment. There are moments, a medical crisis, a funeral, a parent who's genuinely stuck, where you help fully without a spreadsheet, because that's what a family is for. And some cultures and some families run on a web of mutual lending that has held people up for generations. Money flows around the family, and it comes back around, and it works precisely because the trust underneath it is deep and shared. If that's your world, and it truly works, I'm not here to westernize your kitchen table. So hear what the rule is actually for. Give, don't lend is not a rule against generosity. It is a rule in service of generosity. Because the thing that kills family generosity dead is the loan that curdled. The brother nobody talks to anymore over $4,000. The friendship that quietly ended over $400. Every one of those started as an act of love that got structured wrong. The rule doesn't protect your wallet. Your wallet can take a hit. It protects the relationship, so you can keep being generous to this person for the rest of your lives, instead of blowing up the whole bond over one badly handled favor. Give freely when you can. Say no cleanly when you can't. Both of those keep the door open. It's the silent, resentful, never-mentioned loan that bricks it shut. Be generous. Just be generous in a form the friendship can actually survive. Point 6. For some of you, this isn't one text once. You're the one who made it, the one who's stable. And so you've quietly become the family bank, the person everyone calls when the car dies, the rent's short, the surprise bill lands. And it's a strange, lonely kind of pressure, because it comes wrapped in love, and saying anything about it feels ungrateful for your own good fortune. But an ATM with a heartbeat still runs out, of money and of patience. And when the family bank finally snaps, it snaps at everyone at once, and that helps no one. So if that's you, you need boundaries that are decided in advance when nobody's asking, when your head is clear. Decide your number, the total amount you're willing to give away across a year, full stop. And when it's gone, it's gone. And that's not cruelty, it's a budget. Decide your form. Maybe you're the person who helps with a real emergency but not a lifestyle, who'll cover a medical bill but not a fourth loan to the same cousin who never changes anything. And then, this is the one that saves you. Decide it out loud, before the next ask, not in the heat of one. You get to say gently to the people who lean on you, I love being able to help when it's a true emergency. I'm not able to be a regular source of money. That's not something I can carry. That sentence feels impossible the first time. It gets easier. Because being the family bank with no boundaries doesn't actually make you the generous one. It makes you the resentful one. Slowly. and it teaches everyone around you not to solve their own problems. Real help sometimes looks like a firm, loving limit that lets people find their own feet. You can be the strong one in your family and still not be everyone's emergency fund. Those two things are allowed to coexist. So here's the script, the actual words. So you're not improvising when the text comes. Keep these somewhere you can find them. When you want to help and you can afford it, you give, and you say, I don't want you paying me back. Please take this as a gift. I just want you okay, and I don't want money to ever be a weird thing between us. That one sentence dissolves the whole trap before it forms. No ledger, no debt, no resentment. You stay equals. When you truly must lend, you lend it goodbye in your heart, and you say it clear with your mouth, I can do this. In my head, I've already let it go, so we're fine no matter what. But let's agree on a number and a date now, and if a month gets tight, you tell me before it's due, not after. And when the answer is no, you hold the person and decline the transaction in 3 beats. I love you and I want to help. Then, I've got a rule that I don't lend money because I've watched it hurt people I care about. Then, so let's figure out what else I can do. Warmth, boundary, an open door. Then let the quiet be okay. That's it. Give when you can. Lend it goodbye when you must. Say no with love when you can't. Every version keeps a money problem from becoming a people problem, which is the whole game. So tell me in the comments, have you ever lent money to family or a friend and regretted it? Or has someone given you a gift, no strings, that you've never forgotten? Your story might be the thing that helps someone else say the hard sentence. This is education, not therapy or financial advice. For a serious rift or a big sum, a professional can help. Next time, we sit down with the little ones, raising kids who aren't broke, the money lessons they're already learning by watching you, whether you meant to teach them or not. I'll see you there.